You ever wonder what's really hiding in the heart of the Amazon? Not just the endless green, or the wild calls echoing through the trees, but something deeper, something that feels like it's been waiting for us to notice. Tonight, we're drifting into a world most folks never even imagine. A place where the river swells into a lake so vast, it swallows the horizon, and secrets sleep beneath the surface, untouched for centuries. This isn't just a story about water and trees. It's about the pulse of the planet, the mysteries that keep us up at night, and the wild, impossible beauty that still exists when you look close enough. Picture this. The sun's just dipped below the canopy, painting the sky in bruised purples and gold. The air is thick, humming with the breath of a million unseen creatures. Somewhere out there, the Amazon River stretches its arms wide, flooding the forest, turning land into water, and water into a mirror for the stars. Locals call it the Sea of the Jungle, but to scientists, explorers, and the few who've dared to cross it, it's something else entirely. A mega lake, born from the river's wild moods, bigger than some countries, and older than any map. You can almost hear it, can't you? The slow, steady lap of water against tangled roots. The distant rumble of thunder rolling in from somewhere far beyond the trees. There's a kind of magic here, a hush that settles over everything, as if the world itself is holding its breath. And in that silence, stories begin to rise. Stories of lost cities, vanished tribes, creatures that shouldn't exist, and waters that seem to move with a mind of their own. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we dive into the heart of the Amazon's mega lake, let's drift back, way back. Imagine a time before roads, before satellites, before anyone outside this forest even knew it existed. The people who lived here saw the river as a living thing, a spirit that could give or take away, depending on its mood. They told tales of a lake that appeared and disappeared with the seasons, swallowing whole villages, then vanishing like a dream. Some said it was cursed. Others believed it was sacred, doorway to another world. Even now, with all our tech and maps, Amazon still keeps its secrets. There are places where the river widens so much you can't see the other side, where the water rises up, swallowing the forest, and the trees stand knee-deep, their roots hidden in the dark. It's here, in these flooded forests, that the mega lake is born. Not a lake in the way you might picture, with clear edges and a tidy shore, but a shifting, breathing sea that changes shape with every rainstorm, every moon. And here's the wild part. No one really knows how big it gets. Some say it stretches for hundreds of miles, swallowing up towns, roads, even whole islands. Others claim it's deeper than anyone's ever measured, with currents that twist and pull like something alive. There are stories of boats vanishing without a trace, of strange lights flickering beneath the surface, of voices calling out in the night. Is it just the wind, or is there something else? Something waiting in the dark. As you float along the edge of this hidden sea, the world feels different. The air is cooler, heavy with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers. Birds call out from the shadows, their voices sharp and sudden, like laughter in the dark. Somewhere nearby, a caiman slips into the water, leaving only ripples behind. You can feel the weight of the place, the sense that you're not alone, that the forest is watching, listening, remembering. And then, just when you think you've seen it all, the lake reveals another secret. In the dry season, when the water pulls back, it leaves behind strange shapes in the mud. Circles, lines, patterns that don't make sense. Some say they're the remains of ancient cities, lost to time and water. Others believe they're messages, left by people who understood the river in ways we never will. Archaeologists have found pottery, tools, even bones buried deep beneath the silt. Each discovery raises more questions than answers. Who built these places? Why did they vanish? And what else is still waiting to be found? But the mysteries don't stop there. Locals whisper about creatures that live in the deepest parts of the lake. Giant fish with eyes like lanterns, river dolphins that seem to appear and disappear at will, and snakes so big they could swallow a man whole. Some of these stories sound impossible, but every now and then, someone brings back proof. A scale the size of a dinner plate. A photograph of something pale and ghostly moving just beneath the surface. Is it real? Or just another story, born from the dreams and fears of a place that refuses to be tamed? As night falls, the lake changes again. The water glows with the light of 1,000 fireflies, and the air is filled with the soft, steady drone of insects. Somewhere out there, a jaguar calls, its voice low and lonely, echoing across the water. You feel small here, but not afraid. There's a kind of peace in the unknown, a sense that the world is bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than we ever imagined. So, what's really hiding in Amazon's mega lake? Maybe it's not just monsters or lost cities. Maybe it's something simpler. A reminder that there are still places on this planet that can surprise us. Still mysteries worth chasing. Still stories waiting to be told. And as we drift deeper into the heart of the jungle, one thing's for sure. The adventure is just beginning. Have you ever noticed how Amazon doesn't just keep secrets? It breathes them. Out here, nothing stays the same for long. The mega lake isn't just a place on a map. It's a living, shifting thing. One day it's a mirror, calm and endless, reflecting the sky so perfectly you can't tell where water ends and clouds begin. Next, it's a wild, churning sea, swallowing trees, flooding villages, and rewriting the land itself. It's like the whole forest is caught in a slow-motion dance, and the water leads every step. Locals say you can hear the change before you see it. The birds go quiet. The frogs start singing a different tune. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of rain and something else. Something old, like the memory of a storm. Then, almost without warning, the river rises. It creeps up the banks, slips through the roots, and suddenly, the world you knew is gone. Paths disappear, landmarks vanish. Even the animals seem to move differently, as if they know if the rules have changed. It's easy to get lost out here, not just in the physical sense, but in your own head. The mega lake messes with your sense of direction, your sense of time. Day and night blur together. The sun filters through the canopy in strange, shifting patterns, and the moonlight turns the water silver, hiding what's beneath. Sometimes, you catch a glimpse of something moving just out of sight. A shadow, a ripple, a flash of color. Was it a fish? A bird? Or something else entirely? People who live along the lake have learned to read its moods. They know when to fish, when to plant, when to move their homes to higher ground. Their lives are tied to the water in ways most of us can't imagine. They tell stories passed down for generations, stories of spirits that guard the lake, of voices that call out in the fog, of boats that vanish without a trace. Some of these tales are warnings, others are lessons. All of them are reminders that, out here, the line between reality and legend is thin as mist. One of the oldest stories is about the Encantado, the pink river dolphin. Locals say these dolphins aren't just animals. They're shapeshifters, spirits that can walk on land, take human form, and disappear into the water whenever they please. Some folks swear they've seen them at night, dancing on the shore, their eyes glowing in the dark. Others say the Encantado can steal your voice, your memory, even your heart. It sounds wild, but then you see one of these dolphins break the surface, pink as a sunset. And for a moment, you believe anything's possible. But the mega lake isn't just a place of legends. It's a place of science too, a living laboratory where the rules of nature get rewritten every day. Biologists come here to study fish that can breathe air, trees that grow underwater, and insects that build floating cities out of leaves and mud. Every year they discover new species, creatures no one's ever seen before, living in the shadows, thriving in the flood. It's proof that the world is still full of surprises, still wilder than we think. And then there's the sound. Out here, silence is never really silent. The lake is alive with noise, the slap of a fishtail, the distant roar of howler monkeys, the soft, steady drip of water from the leaves. At night, the chorus grows louder. Frogs sing in 1,000 different voices. Insects buzz and click, weaving a lullaby that's equal parts soothing and strange. Sometimes, you hear something you can't explain. A splash with no source. A whisper that seems to come from the water itself. It's enough to make you wonder what's really out there, just beyond the reach of your flashlight. The mega lake is also a place of danger. The water hides more than just fish and dolphins. There are anacondas here, giant snakes that move like shadows, silent and patient. There are electric eels capable of stunning a grown man with a single jolt. And then there are the piranhas. Their teeth sharp as razors, their hunger legendary. Most of the time, they keep to themselves. But every so often, someone gets too close and the stories start all over again. But for every danger, there's a moment of wonder. A flock of scarlet macaws rising from the trees, their wings flashing red and gold in the morning sun. A family of capybaras swimming through the flooded forest, their eyes just above the water, calm and unbothered. The way the mist hangs over the lake at dawn, turning everything soft and dreamlike, as if the world is being born all over again. And just when you think you've seen it all, the lake throws you another curve. Maybe it's a patch of water that glows blue at night, lit by tiny invisible creatures. Maybe it's a tree, half submerged, covered in flowers that only bloom when the water is high. Or maybe it's the feeling you get deep in your bones, that you're standing on the edge of something vast and unknown. So, what's the truth behind Amazon's mega lake? Is it a place of danger or a place of wonder? A home for monsters or a sanctuary for life? Maybe it's all of those things, and more. Maybe the real mystery isn't what's hiding in the water, but what's hiding in ourselves. The part that still believes in magic, in adventure, in the possibility of the unknown. And as the night deepens, and the sounds of the lake rise around you, you realize you're not just a visitor here. You're part of the story now, caught up in the endless, unreal, unseen dance of the Amazon. You ever feel like the world's trying to tell you something, but you just can't quite catch the words? That's what it's like out here. Drifting on the edge of the Amazon's mega lake, every ripple, every shadow, every sudden hush in the trees feels like a message. If only you could figure out the language. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of rain and earth, and the sky above is a patchwork of stars and clouds, always shifting, always just out of reach. It's the kind of night that makes you want to listen. Really listen to the stories the water's been holding on to for centuries. Some nights, the lake is so still, it feels like time itself has stopped. The surface is glass, broken only by the slow drift of a leaf or the sudden leap of a fish. You can see the reflection of the moon, bright and perfect, and for a moment it's easy to believe you're floating between two worlds, one above, one below. Both full of secrets. It's peaceful, sure, but there's a tension in that peace, a sense that something's waiting just beneath the calm. And then, just like that, the mood shifts. A breeze stirs the water, sending ripples across the surface. The trees start to whisper, their leaves rustling in a language older than words. Somewhere in the distance, a branch snaps, sharp and sudden, and you remember you're not alone out here. The forest is alive, always watching, always moving. It's a reminder that, in the Amazon, nothing is ever really still. There's a story the elders tell, about a city lost beneath the lake. They say that long ago, before the river claimed this land, people built homes and temples here, carved roads through the jungle, and lived lives as real as yours or mine. But then the water came. Slow at first, then all at once, swallowing everything in its path. The city vanished, buried beneath mud and silt, its memory kept alive only in stories and dreams. Some say you can still hear the bells of the old city ringing on certain nights, echoing up from the deep. Others claim to have seen stone walls and broken statues when the water runs low, proof that the past is never really gone. Scientists have tried to find the truth behind these tales. They've sent divers down, mapped the lakebed with sonar, sifted through layers of mud for clues. Every so often they find something, a shard of pottery, a carved stone, a piece of bone. Each discovery is a piece of a puzzle that never quite fits together. The more they find, the more questions they have. Was there really a city here? Or is it just a story, shaped by the dreams and fears of generations? But maybe the truth isn't just in the ruins. Maybe it's in the way the lake changes, the way it hides and reveals, the way it refuses to be pinned down. Amazon doesn't give up its secrets easily. It makes you work for them, makes you pay attention, makes you wonder. And in that wandering, you start to see the world differently, not as a place to be conquered, but as a place to be respected, even loved. There's a kind of magic in that, don't you think? The idea that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only experienced. That some places are meant to stay wild, to keep us humble, to remind us that we're not the center of the universe. Out here, surrounded by water and trees and the endless, restless dark, you start to feel small, but in a good way, like you're part of something bigger, something ancient and alive. And then, just when you're starting to settle into that feeling, the lake throws you another surprise. Maybe it's a sudden flash of movement, a school of fish darting through the shallows, their scales catching the moonlight like silver coins. Maybe it's the call of a night bird, sharp and lonely, echoing across the water. Or maybe it's something stranger, a shape moving just beneath the surface, too big, too slow, too silent to be anything you recognize. Your heart skips a beat. You lean forward, straining to see, to understand, but the shape slips away, lost in the shadows, leaving only questions behind. That's the thing about Amazon's mega lake. It never gives you all the answers. It keeps you guessing, keeps you coming back for more. Every night is different, every story unfinished. And maybe that's the real magic, the sense that anything could happen, that the next moment could change everything. So you sit there, listening to the water, watching the stars, feeling the slow, steady pulse of the jungle all around you. You think about the people who came before, the stories they told, the mysteries they left behind. You wonder what secrets the lake will reveal tomorrow, and what new questions will rise up in their place. And as the night deepens and the world grows quiet, you realize you're not just an observer here. You're a part of the story now, woven into the fabric of the Amazon, caught up in the endless, unreal, unseen dance of water and time. Have you ever sat so still that you can feel your own heartbeat echoing the rhythm of the world around you? Out here, on the edge of the Amazon's mega lake, that's how it feels. The air is thick, almost syrupy, and every breath tastes like rain and green things growing. The water stretches out in every direction, dark and endless, swallowing the sky and the trees and even the sound of your own thoughts. It's easy to lose track of time, to forget where you end, and the world begins. Tonight, the lake is restless. The wind stirs the surface, sending little waves lapping against the roots of half-drowned trees. Somewhere nearby, a fish jumps, breaking the silence with a sharp splash. You can hear the distant rumble of thunder, rolling in slow and low, promising rain before morning. The air is electric, charged with the promise of something about to happen. You can feel it in your bones, a kind of anticipation that makes your skin tingle and your mind race. The locals say the lake is alive, that it has moods and tempers just like a person. Some days it's gentle, almost playful, letting the children swim and the fishermen cast their nets without worry. Other days it's wild and angry, churning up mud and debris, snapping branches, and swallowing anything that gets too close. They say you have to respect the water, treat it like an old friend who can turn on you in a heartbeat. Out here, that's not just a superstition, it's survival. There's a story that gets told around campfires, late at night when the rain drums on the roof and the wind howls through the trees. It's about a fisherman who tried to outsmart the lake, who thought he could take more than his share and get away with it. The story goes that he set his nets too deep, too far from shore. And when the morning came, he was gone. All they found was his boat, drifting empty, the nets torn to shreds. Some say he was taken by a giant fish, others by the spirits that guard the water. Either way, the message is clear. The lake gives, and the lake takes away. But it's not all fear and caution. There's beauty here too. Beauty so wild and raw it almost hurts to look at. The way the sunlight filters through the mist in the early morning, turning the water gold and the trees into silhouettes. The way the birds gather at dawn, filling the air with a riot of color and sound. The way the world feels new and ancient at the same time, as if you're standing at the beginning of everything. Sometimes, when the water is low, you can walk out onto the mudflats and find the bones of the past. Old pottery, broken tools, the remains of fires long since burned out. Each piece is a clue, a fragment of a story that's still being written. Archaeologists come from all over the world to dig here, hoping to find answers to questions no one even thought to ask. Who lived here before the water came? What did they believe? What did they fear? Every discovery is a reminder that the lake has been shaping lives for longer than anyone can remember. And then there are the animals. The megalake is home to creatures found nowhere else on Earth, giant river otters that hunt in packs, their sleek bodies cutting through the water like knives, black caimans, their eyes glowing red in the moonlight, and the legendary arapaima, a fish so big and strong it can knock a man out of a canoe with a single flick of its tail. There are birds too, herons and kingfishers and parrots, their feathers flashing like jewels against the green. Every day brings a new surprise, a new reminder that the world is still full of wonders. But for all its beauty, the lake is a place of contrasts. It can be gentle one moment and deadly the next. It can hide secrets for centuries, then reveal them in a single night of rain. It can make you feel powerful and small, brave and afraid, all at once. That's the real magic of this place. The way it keeps you guessing, keeps you humble, keeps you coming back for more. As the night wears on, the rain finally comes, soft at first, then harder, drumming on the leaves and the water and your own skin. The world shrinks to the circle of light from your lantern, and everything beyond is mystery and shadow. You listen to the rain, to the distant calls of night birds, to the slow, steady heartbeat of the lake. You wonder what tomorrow will bring. What new stories, what new mysteries, what new chances to lose yourself and find yourself all over again. And as you drift off to sleep, rocked by the gentle motion of the water, you realize that you're not just a visitor here. You're part of the story now, woven into the fabric of the Amazon, carried along by the unreal, unseen currents of the megalake. There's something about dawn on the Amazon's megalake that just hits different. The world wakes up slow, like it's stretching after a long, wild dream. Mist hangs low over the water, soft and silver, blurring the line between earth and sky. You can hear the first birds calling, sharp, sweet notes that cut through the hush. Somewhere, a monkey whoops, and the sound bounces across the water, echoing off trees that look like ghosts in the early light. It's peaceful, but there's a charge in the air, like the day's holding its breath, waiting to see what'll happen next. You sit at the edge of your boat, feet dangling just above the water, and watch as the sun starts to burn through the fog. Colors bloom, pale gold, deep green, flashes of blue and red as parrots streak overhead. The lake is glassy, but every now and then something stirs beneath the surface. A ripple, a swirl, a shadow that's gone before you can blink. It's easy to let your mind wander, to imagine what's down there, moving in the dark. Maybe it's just a fish, or maybe it's something older, something that remembers a time before people ever set foot here. The locals say the lake is full of memories. Every tree, every stone, every drop of water has a story to tell. Some of those stories are happy, about families fishing together, about children learning to swim, about the first rains after a long, dry season. Others are sad, about floods that swept away homes, about storms that came out of nowhere, about people who went out on the water and never came back. The lake remembers it all, they say, and if you listen close, you can hear those memories in the way the water moves, in the way the wind sighs through the trees. You start to notice the little things, the way dragonflies skim the surface, their wings catching the light like tiny stained glass windows, the way the roots of the trees twist and curl, reaching down into the mud, holding on tight against the pull of the current, the way the water changes color as the sun climbs higher, first silver, then green, then a deep, endless blue. It's beautiful, sure, but it's also a little bit haunting. There's a sense that nothing here ever really disappears. It just changes, shifts, becomes part of something bigger. And then, just as you're getting lost in the moment, something breaks the surface. A fish, big and sleek, leaping into the air before crashing back down with a splash. You laugh, startled, and the sound feels good, like a promise that the day is going to be full of surprises. You watch as the ripples spread out, touching everything, reminding you that even the smallest action can change the world. The people who live here know that better than anyone. Their lives are tied to the lake in ways most of us can't even imagine. They build their homes on stilts, move with the seasons, learn to read the water like a book. They know when the fish are running, when the storms are coming, when it's time to plant, and when it's time to wait. Their knowledge isn't written down in books or stored on a hard drive. It's passed down in stories, in songs, in the quiet moments spent watching the water and listening to the world. There's a kind of wisdom in that, a way of living that feels both ancient and brand new. It's about paying attention, about respecting the rhythms of the world, about understanding that you're just one small part of something vast and wild. It's a lesson the lake teaches over and over in 1,000 different ways. But the lake isn't just a teacher. It's a trickster too. It loves to surprise you, to turn the world upside down when you least expect it. One minute, the water is calm and clear, and the next, a storm rolls in, turning the sky black and the waves wild. One day, you find a patch of land where you thought there was only water, and the next, it's gone, swallowed up by the flood. It keeps you on your toes, keeps you humble, keeps you guessing. And maybe that's the real magic of this place, the way it refuses to be tamed, the way it always has one more secret, one more story, one more mystery waiting just around the bend. You can spend a lifetime here and still never know it all. But that's okay. Maybe the point isn't to solve every mystery, but to keep looking, to keep wondering, to keep letting yourself be surprised as the sun climbs higher and the day begins in earnest. You feel a sense of gratitude, grateful to be here, to witness this, to be part of a world that's still full of wonder. You take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and promise yourself you'll never stop listening, never stop learning, never stop believing in the unreal, unseen magic of the Amazon's mega lake. There's a moment, right after sunrise, when the whole lake seems to hold its breath. The mist lifts, slow and lazy, and the world sharpens into focus. You can see the water stretching out forever, dotted with islands of tangled green. The air is thick with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers, and every sound feels amplified. The slap of a fishtail, the distant call of a toucan, the soft creak of your boat as it drifts. It's a quiet that isn't really quiet at all, but a symphony of life waking up. You watch as a family of river otters slips through the water, playful and quick, their heads bobbing up like little periscopes. They chatter to each other, chasing after breakfast, leaving trails of bubbles in their wake. It's hard not to smile watching them. There's something about their energy, their joy, that makes you feel lighter, like maybe the world isn't as heavy as it sometimes seems. But then, just as you're getting comfortable, the lake reminds you who's in charge. A shadow glides beneath the surface, long, sinuous, almost too big to believe. You catch your breath, heart thumping, as the shape disappears into the murk. Was it an anaconda? A giant arapaima? Or something else? Something you don't even have a name for? Out here you learn quick that not everything wants to be seen. Some things are better left to the imagination. The people who call this place home have stories for every shadow, every ripple, every unexplained sound in the night. They talk about the mapinguari, a creature said to roam the flooded forests, huge and shaggy, with a roar that can freeze your blood. Some say it's just a legend, a way to explain the unexplainable. Others swear they've seen it, heard it, felt its presence in the dark. The truth? Out here, the line between myth and reality is as thin as a dragonfly's wing. You drift past a stand of trees, their roots tangled and exposed, reaching down into the water like fingers searching for something lost. Birds flit from branch to branch, their feathers flashing in the sunlight. A kingfisher dives, hits the water with barely a splash, and comes up with a wriggling fish. Life here is a constant dance between hunger and survival, beauty and danger, light and shadow. And then there's the silence, the kind that settles in the heat of midday, when even the insects seem to pause. The world goes still, and you're left alone with your thoughts, your memories, your questions. It's easy to get lost in that silence, to start wondering about the things you can't see, the stories you'll never know. Maybe that's why the lake feels so mysterious, because it's full of things just out of reach, just out of sight, just waiting to be discovered. You think about the people who've tried to map this place, to measure it, to pin it down with numbers and names. Scientists with their notebooks and sonar, explorers with their GPS and cameras. They've learned a lot, sure, about the way the water moves, about the creatures that live here, about the ancient cities buried beneath the mud. But for every answer they find, a dozen new questions rise up. The lake is always one step ahead, always changing, always keeping its secrets close. And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe the world needs places like this. Places that can't be tamed, can't be owned, can't be fully understood. Places that remind us how small we are, how much we still have to learn, how much wonder is left in the world. It's a humbling feeling, but it's also a gift. A chance to let go of certainty, to embrace the unknown, to find beauty in the mystery. As the day wears on, the heat builds, heavy and relentless. The air shimmers, and the water looks almost solid, like you could walk across it if you just believed hard enough. You close your eyes, listen to the heartbeat of the lake, and let yourself drift. For a moment, you're not thinking about the past or the future, about what's real or what's legend. You're just here, part of the story, part of the unreal, unseen world that stretches out in every direction. And as you open your eyes, you realize something simple and true. The Amazon's megalake isn't just a place. It's a feeling, a question, a promise that there's always more to discover. If you're willing to look, to listen, to believe. Sometimes the Amazon's megalake feels like a living memory, one that's always shifting, always just out of reach. You can see it in the way the water moves, slow and patient, carrying stories from one shore to the next. You can feel it in the air, thick with the scent of old rain and new growth, as if the whole forest is breathing in time with the lake. There's a sense that everything here is connected, woven together by invisible threads you can almost touch. You drift past a floating village, houses perched on logs, bobbing gently with the current. Kids laugh and splash in the shallows, their voices bright and wild, echoing across the water. Women wash clothes on the steps, their hands moving in practiced rhythm, while men mend nets or carve paddles from fallen branches. Life here is simple, but it's never easy. The lake gives, but it also takes, and everyone learns to respect its moods. You watch as a fisherman casts his net, the mesh spreading wide before sinking beneath the surface. He waits, silent and still, eyes fixed on the water. There's a kind of patience here, a willingness to let the world move at its own pace. When he hauls the net back in, it's heavy with fish, silver and wriggling, flashing in the sun. He grins, calls out to his family, and you can feel the pride in his voice. Out here, every meal is earned, every day a small victory. But not every story has a happy ending. Sometimes, the lake rises too fast, flooding homes and fields, turning roads into rivers and villages into islands. People pack what they can, move to higher ground and wait for the water to fall. It's a hard life, but it's also a resilient one. The people here know how to adapt, how to rebuild, how to find hope in the face of loss. They tell stories of ancestors who survived worse, who learned to read the signs in the sky and the water, who passed down their knowledge in songs and stories and quiet moments by the fire. You think about all the things the lake has seen. The rise and fall of civilizations, the comings and goings of animals and people, the endless cycle of flood and drought. Somewhere beneath the surface, there are ruins of ancient villages, pottery shards and stone tools buried deep in the mud. Archaeologists come here, hoping to piece together the past, to find answers to questions that have lingered for centuries. Sometimes they find what they're looking for. More often, they find new mysteries, new puzzles, new reasons to keep searching. And then there are the creatures that call this place home. You spot a sloth, moving slow and deliberate through the branches, its fur green with algae, blending perfectly with the leaves. A pair of macaws screech overhead, their feathers bright as fire, their calls echoing through the trees. In the water, you catch a glimpse of a river dolphin, its pink back breaking the surface before disappearing again. Every animal here is a survivor, adapted to a world that's always changing, always testing the limits of what's possible. The sun climbs higher, burning away the last of the mist. The lake sparkles, alive with movement and color. You feel a sense of awe, a sense that you're witnessing something ancient and sacred. It's easy to forget, in the rush of everyday life, that places like this still exist. Places where the world feels big and wild and full of possibility. But the lake isn't just a backdrop for human stories. It has its own rhythms, its own secrets, its own way of being. Sometimes, late at night, you hear the call of a jaguar, deep and haunting, echoing across the water. Sometimes you see strange lights flickering beneath the surface, moving in patterns that don't make sense. Some say it's just fish, or reflections, or tricks of the light. Others believe it's something more, spirits maybe, or memories, or the dreams of the lake itself. You don't have all the answers. Maybe you never will, but that's okay. Out here, it's enough to wonder, to listen, to let yourself be part of the story. The Amazon's mega lake is a place of questions, a place of beauty and danger and hope. It's a place that reminds you how much there is left to discover, how much there is left to feel. And as the day drifts on, and the shadows grow long, you find yourself grateful for the mysteries, for the stories, for the chance to be here, in this unreal, unseen world. There's a certain magic that settles over the mega lake as afternoon slides toward evening. The sun hangs low, turning the water to molten gold, and the shadows stretch long and thin across the flooded forest. You can feel the temperature drop, just a little, and the breeze picks up, carrying the scent of distant rain and blooming orchids. It's the kind of moment that makes you want to just sit still and soak it all in, to let the world slow down and wrap around you like a warm blanket. You watch as a line of ants marches along a branch, each one carrying a piece of leaf bigger than itself. There's a lesson in their determination, their teamwork, their quiet persistence. Out here, everything is connected. Every creature, every plant, every drop of water. The lake isn't just a body of water. It's a living, breathing system. A web of life that stretches from the tiniest insect to the tallest tree. You start to see the patterns, the way everything fits together, the way every action ripples out and touches something else. A flock of birds explodes from the trees, their wings beating the air in a wild, beautiful chaos. You follow their flight, watching as they wheel and dive, their calls sharp and clear. Somewhere nearby, a capuchin monkey scolds from the treetops, shaking a branch and sending a shower of leaves down onto the water. You laugh, surprised by the suddenness of it, by the way the forest always finds a way to remind you that you're just a guest here. The people who live along the lake know this better than anyone. They move with the seasons, following the rise and fall of the water, planting crops on the high ground when the floods come, fishing in the shallows when the water recedes. Their lives are shaped by the rhythms of the lake, by the endless cycle of change and renewal. They tell stories of times when the water rose higher than anyone could remember, when whole villages had to be rebuilt, when the forest itself seemed to shift and rearrange. But they also tell stories of abundance, of fish so plentiful you could catch them with your hands, of fruit trees heavy with promise, of days when the world felt generous and kind. You think about the balance of it all, the way the lake gives and takes, the way it demands respect, but also rewards those who pay attention. It's a delicate dance, one that's been going on for centuries, maybe forever. And you realize that the real mystery isn't just what's hidden beneath the surface, but how everything manages to survive, to thrive, in a world that's always changing. As the sun dips lower, the colors shift. Gold to orange, orange to pink, pink to deep, velvety blue. The first stars appear, faint and shy, peeking out from behind the clouds. The air grows cooler, and the sounds of the forest change. The daytime chorus of birds and insects fades, replaced by the low, steady croak of frogs and the distant, haunting call of a nightjar. Fireflies blink on, tiny lanterns floating above the water, turning the lake into a field of stars. You sit back, close your eyes, and let the sounds wash over you. There's a peace here, a sense of belonging, a feeling that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You think about all the people who've sat in this same spot, who've watched the sun set over the lake, who've listened to the same songs of water and wind and night. You feel connected, not just to the place, but to everyone who's ever loved it, ever wondered about its secrets, ever dreamed of what might be waiting just out of sight. And then, just as the last light fades, you hear something, a splash, soft but unmistakable, from somewhere out in the dark. You lean forward, heart pounding, straining to see. Was it a fish? A caiman? Or something else? Something you can't quite name. The lake holds its secrets close, but every now and then it lets you catch a glimpse, a hint, a whisper of the unreal, unseen world beneath the surface. You realize that's what keeps you coming back. The promise of discovery, the thrill of the unknown, the sense that anything is possible. The Amazon's mega lake is a place of endless questions, endless wonder, endless stories waiting to be told. And as the night settles in, wrapping the world in darkness and mystery, you find yourself grateful for every moment, every surprise, every chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. Night on the Amazon's mega lake is a world all its own. The darkness settles in slow, thick as velvet, swallowing the last traces of daylight until the only light comes from the moon and a scatter of stars. The water turns black, reflecting the sky so perfectly it feels like you're floating between two universes, one above, one below, both full of secrets. The air cools, but it never really gets cold. Instead, it's heavy with the scent of damp earth, wildflowers, and the faint, smoky hint of distant cooking fires. You listen, and the sounds of the night rise up around you. Frogs sing in 1,000 different voices, some sharp and insistent, others low and mournful. Insects buzz and click, weaving a tapestry of sound that's both soothing and strange. Somewhere out there, a caiman slips into the water, silent as a shadow, leaving only a ripple behind. Every now and then, you hear the splash of a fish or the distant call of an owl, soft and haunting, echoing across the lake. It's easy to let your imagination run wild out here. Every shadow looks like a story, every sound like a secret waiting to be uncovered. You remember the tales the locals tell of spirits that walk the water at night, of lights that dance just beneath the surface, of voices that call out in the fog. Some say the lake is haunted, that the souls of those lost to its depths still wander, searching for a way home. Others believe the night is when the lake is most alive, when its true nature is revealed to those willing to listen. You sit in your boat, rocking gently with the current, and let the night wrap around you. The stars are brighter here, sharper, as if the sky is closer than anywhere else on Earth. You pick out constellations, some familiar, some strange, and wonder what stories the people here have woven from the same patterns of light. Maybe they see animals or spirits or the faces of ancestors watching over them. Maybe the stars are just stars, or maybe there's something more. A map, a guide, a promise that you're never really alone. The lake feels different at night. The boundaries blur, and it's hard to tell where the water ends and the sky begins. You feel small, but not in a bad way. It's a kind of humility, a reminder that the world is bigger and older and more mysterious than you'll ever know. You think about all the things you can't see. The fish swimming in the dark, the roots twisting through the mud, the ruins of ancient villages buried deep beneath the silt. The lake holds its secrets close, but you can feel them just out of reach, just waiting to be discovered. And then, just when you're starting to drift, something happens. A light flickers beneath the surface, faint and blue, moving in slow, lazy circles. You lean forward, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what you're seeing. Is it a fish, a trick of the moonlight, or something else? Something you've only heard about in stories. The light grows brighter, then fades, leaving you with more questions than answers. You remember what the old fisherman told you back when you first arrived. The lake gives you what you need, not what you want. Sometimes that's answers, sometimes it's more questions. You didn't understand it then, but you're starting to now. Out here, the mystery is part of the magic. The not knowing is what keeps you coming back, what keeps you curious, what keeps you awake long after the rest of the world has gone to sleep. You close your eyes, let the sounds of the night wash over you, and feel yourself drifting, half in this world, half in another. You dream of water and stars, of shadows and light, of stories that have no ending. And when you wake, just before dawn, the lake is still there, waiting, unreal and unseen, ready to share another secret, if you're willing to listen. There's a special kind of quiet that comes just before dawn on the mega lake. It's not silence, not really. There's always something moving, always a whisper of wings or the soft plop of a fish breaking the surface. But it's a hush, a pause, like the whole world is holding its breath, waiting for the first light to spill over the trees. You sit up, rubbing the sleep from your eyes, and watch as the sky shifts from deep blue to pale gray, then to the softest pink. The air is cool and damp, and every breath feels fresh, like you're the first person to ever see this day. You notice how the mist clings to the water, swirling in slow, lazy patterns. It hides the far shore, blurs the line between land and lake, and makes everything feel a little bit dreamlike. You can hear the first birds waking up, their calls tentative at first, then bolder, building into a chorus that fills the air. Somewhere, a howler monkey lets loose, its voice echoing through the trees, deep and wild. The world is waking up, and you're right here in the middle of it. Part of the story, part of the mystery. You paddle quietly, not wanting to break the spell. The water is smooth as glass, and every stroke sends ripples out in perfect circles. You pass a stand of trees, their roots tangled and exposed, reaching down into the water like the fingers of giants. A pair of kingfishers dart past, their feathers flashing electric blue in the early light. You spot a caiman sunning itself on a log, eyes half closed, looking ancient and wise. Everything feels connected, like you're moving through a living painting. Every detail exactly where it's supposed to be. As the sun climbs higher, the mist begins to lift, revealing more of the lake, more of the world. You see a family of capybaras grazing on the shore, their fur still wet from a morning swim. A flock of parrots explodes from the trees, their wings a blur of color and sound. The air is alive with movement, with possibility, with the promise of another day full of surprises. You think about all the things you've seen, all the stories you've heard, all the mysteries you've tried to unravel, the lost cities buried beneath the mud, the creatures that slip through the water unseen, the lights that dance beneath the surface at night. You realize that for every answer you found, 100 new questions have taken its place. The lake is like that, always changing, always just out of reach, always inviting you to look a little closer, to listen a little harder, to believe in the impossible. You remember the people you've met along the way, the fishermen and their families, the scientists and explorers, the storytellers and dreamers. Each one has their own version of the lake, their own memories, their own hopes and fears. Some see it as a source of life, a place of abundance and beauty. Others see it as a challenge, a force to be respected, even feared. But everyone agrees on one thing: the lake is alive, and it has a spirit all its own. You pause for a moment, letting the boat drift, and watch as the sun finally breaks free of the trees, flooding the world with light. The water sparkles, the birds sing louder, and the whole forest seems to wake up at once. It's a moment of pure magic, a reminder that no matter how much you think you know, there's always more to discover, always more to feel. You take a deep breath, fill your lungs with the sweet, damp air, and promise yourself you'll never stop searching, never stop wondering, never stop letting the lake surprise you, because that's what it does best. It keeps you curious, keeps you humble, keeps you coming back for more. And as the day begins in earnest, as the world shakes off the last traces of night and steps boldly into the light, you realize that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, right here, in the heart of the unreal, unseen Amazon, with the mega lake stretching out before you, full of secrets, full of stories, full of life. By midday, the mega lake is wide awake, alive with color and sound. The sun hangs high, hot and bright, turning the water into a sheet of blinding silver. You squint against the glare, feeling the heat on your skin, the sweat beading on your brow. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of sun-warmed leaves and the distant sweetness of ripe fruit. Every breath feels slow, deliberate, like the world itself is moving in slow motion. You drift past a floating mat of water hyacinths, their purple flowers bright against the green. Dragonflies hover above, their wings catching the light, darting and weaving in a dance that never seems to end. Somewhere nearby, you hear the splash of a fish, the sharp cry of a hawk, the low, steady hum of insects. It's a symphony, wild and unplanned, but somehow perfect. You spot a group of children playing at the water's edge, their laughter ringing out across the lake. They chase each other through the shallows, splashing and shouting, their joy infectious. You wave and they wave back, grinning wide, their faces shining with sun and freedom. It's a reminder that life here isn't just about survival. It's about living, about finding happiness in the small moments, about making memories that will last long after the water recedes. The people of the lake know how to celebrate. When the fish are running, when the fruit is ripe, when the rains finally break a long dry spell, they gather together. Families, friends, neighbors. They cook over open fires, tell stories, sing songs that echo across the water. The music is simple, but it's full of heart, full of history, full of hope. You listen, and you can feel the connection, the sense of belonging, the knowledge that no one here is ever truly alone. But even in the middle of all this life, the lake never lets you forget its power. The sun beats down, relentless, and the water shimmers with heat. You see the mirage of distant trees, wavering in the haze, and for a moment, it's hard to tell what's real and what's just a trick of the light. The lake is always changing, always shifting, always reminding you that nothing here is permanent. You think about the stories you've heard, the ones about storms that come out of nowhere, about floods that rise in the night, about families forced to pack up and move with little warning. The people here are strong, but they're also vulnerable, at the mercy of forces they can't control. It's a lesson in humility, in resilience, in the importance of community. Out here, you learn to rely on each other, to share what you have, to look out for your neighbors. It's a way of life that feels both ancient and necessary, a reminder of what really matters. You paddle on, the sun climbing higher, the world growing hotter and brighter. You pass a stand of trees, their roots tangled and exposed, their branches heavy with birds. Parrots squawk and chatter, their feathers flashing red and blue and green. A sloth hangs upside down, moving slow and deliberate, its eyes half closed in the heat. Everything here has found a way to survive, to adapt, to thrive in a world that's always changing. And then, just when you think you've seen it all, the lake surprises you again. A school of fish bursts from the water, silver bodies flashing in the sun. A caiman glides past, barely a ripple in its wake. A butterfly lands on your arm, its wings delicate and perfect, a tiny miracle in a world full of wonders. You pause, letting the boat drift, and take it all in. The heat, the light, the noise, the life. You feel grateful, overwhelmed, alive. You realize that the real magic of the mega lake isn't just in its mysteries or its dangers, but in its ability to make you feel, really feel, every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. And as the afternoon stretches on, as the world shimmers with possibility, you promise yourself you'll never take this for granted. You'll keep searching, keep wondering, keep letting the lake teach you what it means to be alive. The afternoon sun hangs heavy over the mega lake, painting everything in a haze of gold and heat. You can feel the weight of it pressing down, making the air shimmer and the water steam. It's the kind of heat that slows your thoughts, makes your body feel lazy, and turns every movement into a small act of willpower. But out here, even the heat is part of the story. Another layer in the endless, unreal, unseen world of the Amazon. You find a patch of shade beneath a giant ceiba tree, its roots twisting down into the water like the arms of some ancient guardian. The bark is cool against your back, and you close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds of the lake wash over you. There's the steady drone of cicadas, the distant call of a toucan, the soft splash of something moving just out of sight. It's peaceful, but there's always a sense of something waiting, something just beyond the edge of what you can see. You open your eyes and watch as a pair of river dolphins surface nearby, their backs pink and smooth, their movements graceful and strange. They seem to glide through the water without effort, barely making a ripple. For a moment, you forget about the heat, the sweat, the ache in your muscles. You just watch, mesmerized, as the dolphins play their silent game, weaving in and out of the shadows. It feels like a gift, a secret shared just between you and the lake. The people who live here say the dolphins are more than just animals. They're messengers, guardians, maybe even spirits. Some believe they can bring good luck, or warn of danger, or guide lost travelers back to safety. Others say they're shapeshifters, able to walk on land when the moon is full, slipping between worlds as easily as they slip through the water. You don't know what to believe, but you know this: seeing them here in this moment feels like a kind of magic. You drift along the edge of the flooded forest, the trees rising up out of the water like pillars in some forgotten temple. The roots are tangled and thick, creating a maze that's easy to get lost in. Sunlight filters through the leaves, turning the water green and gold. You spot a sloth curled up in the branches, its fur matted and green with algae, its eyes half closed in the heat. It barely moves, content to let the world pass by at its own slow pace. You paddle deeper into the forest, the air growing cooler, the light softer. The sounds change too, less open, more secretive. You hear the rustle of monkeys in the canopy, the splash of a turtle sliding off a log, the distant rumble of thunder promising rain. The world feels smaller here, more intimate, as if you've stumbled into a place that wasn't meant to be found. You think about all the things you've learned since you arrived. The way the lake changes with the seasons, the way the people adapt, the way every creature has its own place in the story. You remember the old woman who showed you how to weave a basket from palm fronds, her hands quick and sure, her voice soft and steady. You remember the boy who taught you to fish with nothing but a line and a hook, his laughter ringing out every time you missed a bite. You remember the stories told around the fire at night, stories of monsters and miracles, of love and loss, of hope that never quite fades. You realize that the real mystery of the mega lake isn't just in its size or its depth or its secrets. It's in the way it brings people together, the way it shapes their lives, the way it teaches them to listen, to the water, to the wind, to each other. It's in the way it makes you feel. Small, yes, but also connected, also alive. The sky darkens suddenly, clouds rolling in from the horizon, thick and grey and full of promise. The wind picks up, sending ripples across the water, bending the tops of the trees. You smell rain on the air, sharp and clean, and you know you need to find shelter. You paddle back toward the village, the first drops falling cool and heavy on your skin. By the time you reach the shore, the rain is coming down in sheets, drumming on the roof of the little hut where you take cover. Inside, it's dim and warm, the air filled with the smell of wood smoke and wet earth. You sit by the window, watching the rain turn the world outside into a blur of green and grey. The villagers gather, sharing stories and laughter, passing around cups of sweet hot tea. You listen, feeling the comfort of their voices, the strength of their community. Out here, storms are just another part of life, something to be weathered together, something to be respected, something that always, eventually, gives way to sunlight. As the rain slows and the sky begins to clear, you step outside, the world fresh and new. The lake glows in the soft light. The trees drip with water, and the air is cool and sweet. You take a deep breath, feeling grateful for the storm, for the shelter, for the chance to be part of this place, even for a little while. And as the sun breaks through the clouds, painting the world in gold and green, you realize that the Amazon's mega lake isn't just a place you visit. It's a place that changes you, that stays with you, that calls you back, again and again, to the unreal, unseen heart of the world. When the rain finally stops, the world feels brand new. The air is cool and washed clean, and every leaf glistens with drops that catch the sunlight, turning the forest into 1,000 tiny mirrors. You step out from under the shelter, stretching your arms, feeling the damp earth beneath your feet. The lake is calm again, its surface smooth and shining, broken only by the slow drift of floating plants and the lazy circles of fish rising for insects. You walk along the edge of the water, listening to the soft squelch of mud and the distant calls of birds. The village is waking up after the storm, kids running out to play, dogs barking, women sweeping water from their doorways. There's a sense of relief in the air, a quiet joy that comes from having weathered something together. You see it in the way people greet each other, in the laughter that bubbles up as they share stories of the night's thunder and the wild winds that rattled the roofs. You pause to watch a group of men repairing a fishing net, their hands moving quick and sure, working together without needing to speak. The net is old, patched in a dozen places, but it's strong. Stronger, maybe, for all the times it's been mended. You think about how life here is like that net, woven from 100 different threads, each one important, each one holding the others in place. It's a lesson in resilience, in community, in the quiet strength that comes from facing the world side by side. The sun climbs higher, burning away the last of the mist. The lake sparkles, alive with movement. You see a heron standing motionless in the shallows, its eyes sharp, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A family of capybaras grazes nearby, their fur still damp, their noses twitching as they sniff the air. In the distance, a pair of river dolphins leap, their bodies arcing through the sunlight, sending up showers of silver spray. You find a spot beneath a flowering tree and sit for a while, letting the world move around you. The petals fall like confetti, drifting down to float on the water. You watch as a butterfly lands on your knee, its wings a blur of orange and black. For a moment, everything feels perfectly balanced, peaceful, alive, full of possibility. But even in this calm, you know the lake is always changing. The water level rises and falls, the shoreline shifts, the forest floods and dries out again. The people here have learned to live with that uncertainty, to trust in the rhythms of the world, to find comfort in the things that stay the same. The laughter of children, the taste of fresh fish, the warmth of a shared meal. You remember a story you heard from an old man in the village about a time when the lake rose higher than anyone could remember. The water swallowed the fields, crept up the steps of the houses, turned the world into a maze of islands and channels. For weeks the people waited, watching the sky, hoping for the rain to stop. And when it finally did, they rebuilt, together, stronger than before. The old man smiled as he told you, the lake always gives back, if you're patient. You just have to learn how to wait. You think about patience, about hope, about the way the world can change in an instant. You think about all the things you've seen here, the storms and the sunshine, the danger and the beauty, the way every day brings something new. You realize that the real magic of the megalake isn't just in its mysteries or its monsters, but in its ability to teach you how to live, how to adapt, how to endure, how to find joy in the smallest things. As the afternoon drifts on, you join the villagers for lunch, fresh fish grilled over an open fire, sweet fruit picked from the trees, cool water drawn from the lake. You eat together, sharing stories and laughter, feeling the easy comfort of belonging. Out here, meals are more than just food. They're a celebration, a way of saying, we made it through another day. Afterward, you lie back in the shade, listening to the gentle lap of water against the shore, the soft hum of insects, the distant call of a bird. You close your eyes, letting the sounds and smells and warmth of the sun wash over you. For a moment, you feel completely at peace. Part of the world, part of the story, part of the unreal, unseen heart of the Amazon. As the afternoon stretches on, the megalake settles into a slow, dreamy rhythm. The heat softens, and a gentle breeze stirs the surface, sending tiny ripples across the water. You watch as the light shifts, turning everything a deeper shade of green and gold. The shadows grow longer, and the sounds of the forest change, less frantic, more thoughtful, as if the whole world is winding down for the evening. You wander along a narrow path that hugs the shoreline. The mud cool beneath your feet, the trees arch overhead, their branches woven together in a living canopy. Sunbeams filter through the leaves, painting shifting patterns on the ground. Every now and then, you catch a glimpse of movement, a flash of feathers, the flick of a tail, the quick dart of a lizard across a sun-warmed rock. The air is thick with the scent of flowers and earth, sweet and wild, and a little bit mysterious. You come across a small group of women weaving baskets from palm fronds, their fingers moving with practiced ease. They smile and wave you over, inviting you to sit and watch. You settle in, feeling the rough texture of the woven mats beneath you, and listen as they talk and laugh, sharing stories in a language that flows like water. Even if you don't catch every word, you understand the feeling, the sense of connection, of tradition, of skills passed down from mother to daughter for generations. One of the women hands you a half-finished basket, showing you how to fold and twist the fronds. Your hands fumble at first, but she guides you, her touch gentle and patient. You laugh at your mistakes, and she laughs with you, her eyes bright with kindness. It's a simple thing, but it feels important, a way of becoming part of the place, of leaving a small mark on the world. As you work, you listen to the sounds around you, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant splash of a fish, the low hum of voices. The lake is never truly silent, never truly still. There's always something happening, always a story unfolding just out of sight. You think about all the lives that have played out here, all the joys and sorrows, all the moments of courage and hope and love. The lake holds them all, keeps them safe, lets them echo through the years. When the basket is finished, the woman ties off the last strand and hands it to you with a smile. You thank her, feeling a quiet pride in the small, imperfect thing you've made. You know you'll carry it with you, a reminder of this day, this place, these people who welcomed you as one of their own. You wander back toward the water, the basket swinging from your hand. The sun is lower now, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The lake glows, reflecting the colors, turning the world into a living painting. You sit on a fallen log, watching as the day slips away, feeling the peace that comes from being exactly where you're supposed to be. A flock of birds takes flight, their wings beating the air in a wild, joyful rush. You watch them go, feeling a sense of longing and freedom all at once. You wonder where they're headed, what they'll see, what stories they'll carry with them. You realize that you, too, are part of the story now, woven into the fabric of the lake, the forest, the unreal, unseen world that stretches out in every direction. As dusk falls, the village comes alive with the soft glow of lanterns. People gather by the water, sharing food and laughter, their voices rising and falling in the warm evening air. You join them, feeling the comfort of community, the strength of belonging. Someone starts to play a guitar, the music drifting out across the lake, blending with the sounds of the night. You close your eyes, letting the music and the laughter and the gentle lap of water fill your senses. You feel grateful for the kindness of strangers, for the beauty of the world, for the chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. You promise yourself you'll remember this moment. Hold on to it. Let it shape the way you see the world. And as the stars begin to appear, one by one, you look out over the lake and know that the adventure isn't over. There are still mysteries to uncover, still stories to hear, still wonders waiting just beyond the edge of sight. The Amazon's mega lake is a place of endless possibility, a place that calls you back again and again to the unreal, unseen heart of the world. Night falls slow and gentle over the mega lake, like a soft blanket settling over the world. The last light of day fades from the sky, leaving behind a deep, velvety blue. Lanterns flicker along the shore, their golden glow reflected in the water, and the air fills with the low hum of voices, the clink of dishes, the distant strum of a guitar. You sit with the villagers, sharing a simple meal, grilled fish, rice, sweet fruit, eating with your hands, laughing at stories you only half understand but fully feel. There's a comfort in the darkness here, a sense of safety that comes from being together. The children chase fireflies, their laughter ringing out like bells. The elders sit in a circle, their faces lined with years and wisdom, their eyes bright as they tell stories of the old days, of floods and droughts, of lost loves and found fortunes, of the spirits that walk the lake at night. You listen, caught up in the rhythm of their words, the rise and fall of their voices, the way the stories weave together like the threads of a basket. Someone hands you a cup of strong, sweet coffee, and you sip it slowly, feeling the warmth spread through your chest. The night air is cool, but not cold, and the scent of wood smoke drifts on the breeze. You look up and see the stars, so many, so bright, scattered across the sky like diamonds on black velvet. The Milky Way stretches overhead, a river of light mirroring the river below. For a moment, you lose yourself in the vastness of it all, the sense that you're standing at the edge of the universe, part of something infinite and mysterious. The music picks up, and someone starts to sing, a song about the lake, about longing and hope and the promise of tomorrow. The words are soft, almost a whisper, but they carry across the water, blending with the sounds of the night. You feel the emotion in every note, the way the song holds both joy and sorrow, both memory and dream. It's a lullaby for the world, a reminder that even in the darkness there is beauty, there is love, there is light. As the night deepens, the village quiets. The children drift off to sleep, curled up in hammocks or on mats beside their parents. The elders finish their stories, their voices growing softer, their eyes closing as they remember days long past. You sit by the water, feet dangling in the cool lake, listening to the gentle lap of waves against the shore. The world feels smaller now, more intimate, wrapped in the hush of night. You think about all the things you've seen, all the people you've met, all the stories you've heard. You think about the mysteries that still linger, the lost cities beneath the water, the creatures that slip through the shadows, the lights that dance beneath the surface. You realize that the lake is more than just a place. It's a living memory, a keeper of secrets, a witness to the endless dance of life and time. You close your eyes, letting the sounds and smells and feelings of the night wash over you. You feel a sense of peace, a sense of belonging, a sense that you are exactly where you're meant to be. The worries of the outside world fade away, replaced by the simple, quiet joy of being present, of being part of something real and true. And as you drift towards sleep, rocked by the gentle motion of the water, you make a promise to yourself to remember this night, to carry its peace with you, to keep searching for the unreal, unseen wonders that the world still holds. Because out here under the stars, anything feels possible. Every story is unfinished, every mystery is waiting, and every heart is open to the magic of the Amazon's mega lake. You wake before dawn, the world still wrapped in darkness, the air cool and heavy with mist. For a moment, you just lie there, listening to the soft sounds of the village. Someone stirring a fire, the quiet splash of a paddle, the distant call of a night bird. The mega lake is a mirror, perfectly still, reflecting the faint glow of the coming sunrise. You slip out of your hammock, careful not to wake anyone, and step outside, drawn by the promise of a new day. The sky is just beginning to lighten, streaks of pink and gold bleeding into the deep blue. You walk down to the water's edge, feeling the dew on your skin, the mud cool beneath your feet. The world feels hushed, like it's holding its breath, waiting for the first rays of sun to break the spell. You dip your hand into the lake, watching the ripples spread out, gentle and slow, as if the water itself is waking up. You climb into a small canoe, pushing off from the shore with a quiet splash. The paddle moves through the water with barely a sound, and you drift out into the open, surrounded by the unreal, unseen beauty of the Amazon. The mist hangs low, swirling around you, blurring the line between water and sky. It's easy to lose your sense of direction out here, to feel like you're floating in a dream. As you glide across the lake, the world begins to wake. Birds call from the treetops, their songs sharp and clear in the morning air. A family of otters slips through the water, playful and curious, their heads bobbing up to watch you pass. You smile, feeling a quiet joy in their presence, a sense of connection to the wildness all around you. You paddle toward a stand of flooded trees, their roots tangled and exposed, their branches heavy with dew. The sun breaks over the horizon, turning the mist to gold, painting the world in light. You pause, letting the canoe drift, and just watch as the day unfolds. The lake glows, alive with your color and movement, every detail sharp and vivid. It's a moment you want to hold on to forever, a memory you know will stay with you long after you leave. You think about the people who have called this place home for generations, their knowledge, their resilience, their deep respect for the land and water. You remember the stories you've heard, the lessons you've learned, the way every day here is shaped by the rhythms of the lake. You realize that you've changed, too, that the mega lake has left its mark on you, taught you to slow down, to listen, to see the world with new eyes. As the sun climbs higher, you paddle back toward the village, the air warming, the mist lifting. The world is awake now, alive with sound and color. Children run along the shore, chasing each other, their laughter ringing out across the water. Women gather at the water's edge, washing clothes, their voices rising and falling in a gentle chorus. Men prepare their boats for the day's fishing, checking nets, sharing quiet jokes. Life here is simple, but it's full of work, full of laughter, full of love. You join the villagers for breakfast. Fresh fish, sweet fruit, strong coffee. You eat together, sharing stories, plans for the day, dreams for the future. There's a sense of community here, a feeling that everyone belongs, that everyone has a place. You feel it in the way people greet each other, in the way they share what they have, in the way they look out for one another. It's a way of life that feels rare, precious, worth protecting. After breakfast, you help repair a canoe, your hands learning the shape of the wood, the feel of the tools. The work is slow, careful, almost meditative. You listen to the old man guiding you, his voice steady and patient, his stories full of wisdom and humor. He tells you about the floods and the droughts, the storms and the calm, the way the lake can change in an instant. You have to respect the water, he says, or it'll teach you to. You nod, understanding more than you can say. Out here, respect isn't just a word. It's a way of surviving, a way of living, a way of being part of something bigger than yourself. You think about all the things you've seen, all the mysteries you've encountered, all the moments of wonder and fear and awe. You realize that the real gift of the mega lake isn't just its beauty or its secrets, but the way it makes you feel. Alive, connected, awake. As the day unfolds, you set out with a group of fishermen paddling deep into the flooded forest. The water is dark and still, the trees rising up around you like ancient guardians. You cast your net, feeling the weight of it in your hands, the hope that comes with every throw. The sun filters through the leaves, turning the water to gold, and you feel a sense of peace, a sense of belonging, a sense that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You catch a few fish, enough for lunch, and head back to the village. The canoe heavy with the morning's work. The air is full of the scent of smoke and cooking food, the sound of laughter and music. You join the others, sharing the meal, sharing the moment, sharing the simple, quiet joy of being alive. And as the afternoon drifts on, you find yourself grateful for the sunrise, for the mist, for the chance to be part of this unreal, unseen world. You promise yourself you'll remember this day, carry it with you, let it shape the way you see the world. Because out here, on the Amazon's mega lake, every moment is a gift. Every story is unfinished, and every heart is open to the magic of the unknown. The afternoon sun hangs high, but the heat feels softer now, filtered through the thick green canopy that stretches over the mega lake. You find yourself drifting, both in your canoe and in your thoughts, letting the gentle current carry you wherever it wants. The water is dappled with sunlight, broken by the shadows of overhanging branches and the occasional flash of a bird's wing. It's the kind of day that invites you to slow down, to breathe deep, to let the world move at its own pace. You paddle quietly along the edge of the flooded forest, the trees rising straight from the water, their roots hidden in the dark. Every so often, you spot a flash of color, a butterfly, a flower, a bird with feathers so bright it almost doesn't seem real. The air is thick with the scent of earth and water, sweet and wild, and every breath feels like a reminder that you're alive, that you're part of something ancient and beautiful. You pass a family of monkeys, their tails curled around branches, their eyes curious as they watch you glide by. One of the little ones swings down low, chattering and showing off, and you can't help but laugh. The sound echoes through the trees, and for a moment it feels like the whole forest is laughing with you. There's a joy here, a playfulness, a sense that life is meant to be lived in the moment. You think about all the stories you've heard, the legends of lost cities, the tales of river spirits, the warnings about creatures that lurk in the deep. Some of them seem far-fetched, but out here, with the world so full of mystery, you start to wonder if maybe there's some truth in every story. Maybe the real magic of the Amazon isn't in the things you can see, but in the things you can't. the secrets that hide just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. You pause in a patch of shade, letting the canoe drift. The water is so clear you can see fish darting among the roots, their scales flashing silver and gold. A turtle basks on a half-submerged log, its shell covered in green moss. You watch as it slips into the water, leaving only ripples behind. Everything here moves at its own pace, unhurried, unbothered by the rush of the outside world. You remember something one of the villagers told you. The lake teaches patience. If you try to hurry, you'll miss everything worth seeing. You think about that as you sit in the quiet, letting the world unfold around you. There's a lesson in the stillness, in the way the light shifts and the shadows dance, in the way every sound seems to carry a story. As the afternoon drifts on, you make your way back toward the village, the sun dipping lower in the sky. The air cools, and a gentle breeze stirs the water, carrying the scent of smoke and cooking food. You hear laughter in the distance, the sound of children playing, the low hum of conversation. It's a comfort, a reminder that you're not alone, that you're part of a community, part of a story that's bigger than yourself. You join the others by the water's edge, helping to prepare the evening meal. There's fish to clean, vegetables to chop, stories to share. The work is easy, the company good, and the time passes in a blur of laughter and conversation. Someone starts to sing, and soon everyone joins in, their voices rising and falling in a song that feels as old as the lake itself. As dusk settles in, you sit by the fire, watching the flames dance, listening to the sounds of the night. The stars come out one by one, bright and clear in the dark sky. You feel a sense of peace, a sense of belonging, a sense that you found something here that you didn't even know you were looking for. You think about the journey that brought you to this place, the questions you had, the mysteries you wanted to solve, the stories you hoped to find. You realize that the answers aren't always what you expect, that sometimes the real treasure is in the journey itself, in the moments of wonder and connection and joy. And as the night deepens and the world grows quiet, you promise yourself that you'll carry this feeling with you wherever you go, that you'll remember the lessons of the lake, the patience, the wonder, the beauty of the unknown. Because out here, in the heart of the Amazon, every day is a new story, every moment a new mystery, every breath a reminder that the world is still full of magic. The night air is cool and sweet, carrying the scent of rain-soaked earth and blooming night flowers. You sit by the glowing embers of the fire. The village quiet now, except for the soft murmur of voices and the gentle splash of water against the shore. The mega lake stretches out before you, dark and endless, reflecting the stars in a way that makes it hard to tell where the sky ends and the water begins. It's a moment that feels suspended in time, as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. You watch as fireflies drift over the water, their lights flickering like tiny lanterns. Somewhere in the distance, a nightbird calls, its song rising and falling, lonely and beautiful. The sounds of the forest at night are different, softer, more mysterious, as if the world is whispering secrets meant only for those who are willing to listen. You close your eyes, letting the sounds wash over you, feeling the peace that comes from being part of something so much bigger than yourself. A gentle breeze stirs the surface of the lake, sending ripples across the water. You remember the stories you've heard about this place, stories of spirits that walk the water at night, of lights that dance beneath the surface, of voices that call out in the darkness. Some say the lake is haunted, that the souls of those lost to its depths still wander, searching for a way home. Others believe the night is when the lake is most alive, when its true nature is revealed to those who are patient, those who are open to wonder. You think about the mysteries you've encountered here, the lost cities buried beneath the mud, the creatures that slip through the shadows, the lights that flicker just out of sight. You realize that the real magic of the mega lake isn't in the answers, but in the questions. It's in the not knowing, the sense of possibility, the feeling that anything could happen at any moment. It's a kind of freedom, a kind of hope, a reminder that the world is still full of surprises. You stand and walk down to the water's edge, the mud cool beneath your feet, the air thick with the scent of life. You dip your hand into the lake, feeling the water slip through your fingers, cool and smooth. You look up at the sky, at the stars scattered across the darkness, and you feel a sense of awe, a sense of gratitude, a sense that you are exactly where you're meant to be. The villagers begin to drift off to sleep, their hammocks swaying gently in the night breeze. You find your own spot, settling in beneath the open sky, listening to the soft sounds of the world around you. The lake is never truly silent. There's always a whisper, always a ripple, always a story unfolding just out of sight. You let yourself drift, half awake, half dreaming, caught between the world of the living and the world of dreams. In your dreams, you see the lake as it was centuries ago, untouched, wild, full of life. You see the people who lived here, their lives shaped by the rhythms of the water, their stories woven into the fabric of the land. You see the creatures that call this place home, moving through the shadows, thriving in the darkness. You see the mysteries that still linger, the secrets that have yet to be uncovered, the wonders that are waiting for those who are willing to look. You wake just before dawn, the world still wrapped in darkness, the air cool and fresh. The lake is calm, the sky just beginning to lighten, the first birds calling out to greet the day. You sit up, feeling the dew on your skin, the promise of a new day in the air. You realize that every morning here is a new beginning, a new chance to discover, a new opportunity to be part of the story. You promise yourself that you'll keep searching, keep wondering, keep believing in the magic of the unreal, unseen world that stretches out before you. Because out here, on the edge of the Amazon's mega lake, every night is a mystery, every dawn a miracle, every moment a gift. The first light of dawn creeps over the mega lake, painting the world in soft pinks and golds. You sit up in your hammock, stretching, feeling the cool air on your skin and the gentle ache in your muscles from days spent paddling, exploring, and living close to the water. The village is quiet, just beginning to stir. Somewhere a rooster crows. A few early risers move along the shore, their voices low, their movements easy and unhurried. The world feels fresh, full of promise, as if anything could happen. You walk down to the water's edge, the mud cool and soft beneath your feet. The lake is perfectly still, a mirror for the sky. You watch as a kingfisher dives, breaking the surface with a flash of blue, then rises again, triumphant with a wriggling fish in its beak. The ripples spread out, touching everything, reminding you how connected this place is, how every action, every movement, sends waves through the world. You think about all the stories you've heard, all the mysteries you've chased, the lost cities hidden beneath the silt, the ancient pottery and tools, the legends of spirits and shapeshifters. You remember the faces of the people who shared their lives with you, their laughter, their patience, their quiet strength. You realize that the real treasure of the mega lake isn't just in its secrets, but in its people, in the way they live, in the way they endure, in the way they find joy in the everyday. You help the villagers prepare for the day, gathering firewood, mending nets, sharing a simple breakfast of fish and fruit. The work is easy, the company good, and the time passes in a gentle flow of conversation and laughter. You feel a sense of belonging, a sense that you've become part of something bigger than yourself. Out here, life is about more than just survival. It's about connection, about community, about finding your place in the world. As the sun climbs higher, the village comes alive. Children run along the shore, chasing each other, their laughter ringing out across the water. Women gather at the water's edge, washing clothes, their voices rising in song. Men set out in their boats, paddles flashing in the sunlight, heading into the flooded forest to fish. The air is full of the scent of flowers and wood smoke, the sound of birds and insects, the feeling of life in motion. You take a canoe and paddle out into the open water, letting the current carry you. The lake stretches out in every direction, vast and mysterious, full of stories waiting to be told. You pass a stand of trees, their roots tangled and exposed, their branches heavy with birds. A sloth hangs from a branch, moving slow and deliberate, its eyes half closed in the morning sun. A family of river dolphins surfaces nearby, their backs pink and smooth, their movements graceful and free. You pause, letting the canoe drift, and just watch the world unfold around you. The beauty of it all is overwhelming. The colors, the sounds, the sense of possibility. You realize that you don't need to solve every mystery, don't need to have all the answers. Sometimes it's enough just to be here, to witness, to feel, to be part of the story. You think about the journey that brought you here, the questions you had, the fears you carried, the hopes you held close. You realize that the mega lake has changed you, taught you to slow down, to listen, to see the world with new eyes. You feel a sense of gratitude, a sense of wonder, a sense that you are exactly where you're meant to be. As the day unfolds, you promise yourself that you'll carry this place with you. Wherever you go, that you'll remember the lessons of the lake, the patience, the resilience, the beauty of the unknown. That you'll keep searching, keep wondering, keep believing in the magic of the unreal, unseen world that stretches out before you. And as you paddle back toward the village, the sun warm on your face, the water sparkling all around, you know that the adventure isn't over. There are still stories to hear, still mysteries to chase, still wonders waiting just beyond the horizon. The Amazon's mega lake is a place of endless possibility, a place that calls you back again and again to the heart of the world. The sun is high now, casting diamonds across the surface of the mega lake, and you know your journey here is coming to an end. For now, you sit quietly in your canoe, letting the gentle sway of the water rock you, taking in every detail. The shimmer of dragonflies, the distant laughter of children, the endless green stretching to the horizon. The Amazon's mega lake has given you more than stories. It's given you a sense of wonder, a reminder that the world is still full of places that can surprise you, humble you, and fill you with hope. You paddle back toward the village, feeling the warmth of the sun on your back, the cool splash of water on your hands. The people wave as you approach, their smiles wide and genuine. You step onto the shore, feeling the solid earth beneath your feet, and look back one last time at the unreal, unseen world you've been lucky enough to explore. You know you'll carry this place with you, in your heart and in your dreams, long after you've left its shores. As you gather your things and say your goodbyes, you realize that the real magic of the Amazon's mega lake isn't just in its mysteries or its beauty. It's in the way it changes you. It teaches you to slow down, to listen, to see the world with new eyes. It reminds you that every day is a new adventure, every moment a chance to discover something extraordinary. And it shows you that no matter how much you think you know, there's always more to learn, more to feel, more to explore. You walk through the village one last time, the sounds and smells and colors swirling around you. The children run up asking for stories, for one more laugh, for one more promise to return. You smile knowing that you will, because places like this, stories like these, are too precious to leave behind. Forever. As you reach the edge of the forest, you turn and look back, letting the sights and sounds of the mega lake fill your senses one last time. The water glows in the sunlight, the trees sway in the breeze, and the sky stretches out, wide and blue and full of possibility. You take a deep breath, feeling the peace and the power of this place settle inside you, and you know you'll never forget it. Before you go, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of the Amazon's most unbelievable mega lake mysteries. If you felt the wonder, the suspense, and the beauty of this unreal, unseen world, I hope you'll help us keep exploring. Please hit that subscribe button to join our community here at Unseen Ice Worlds, where we dive into the planet's wildest, most mysterious places, one story at a time. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the adventure, and leave a comment below with your favorite Amazon mystery or a place you want us to explore next. Your support helps us bring more hidden wonders to light, and we can't wait to share the next journey with you. So, until next time, keep your curiosity alive. Keep searching for the magic in the world around you. And remember, sometimes the greatest discoveries are waiting just beneath the surface. This is Unseen Ice Worlds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.